let's get into it. Coach Colin here. What's going on, guys? Now, this is very interesting. There's a whole bunch of Candace stuff. I really have to wrap my head around this whole Egyptian plane thing, and then the license plates, and then apparently somebody got dash cam footage from a motorcyclist, and apparently one of the license plates is actually within his dash cam footage, and now people actually found a video of two of the license plates going pretty much one behind the other, driving at a certain point, and all of this is going on like a mile from UVU. So when do we replace Kash Patel with Candace Owens? When does that happen? Is that happening soon? Has anybody put that in the works? Is there a petition that needs to be signed? Somebody needs to get that underway right away. You know what I mean? This is getting out of control. Can you imagine? And then Ian Carroll is her deputy. That would be out of control. Out of control. Anyway, I was gonna say then I could be an agent. I would jump. You guys can still trust me, you know? Then I become just like Kash Patel. Actually, everything you're asking about, those files, they're on my desk. They are on my desk, and I'm looking through them. There's just a shredder behind me, paper shredder right behind me. Just somebody feeding in. That's what I think happened. That's what I think happened with any and every file we're thinking about. I think most of those files are gone, man. I do. That's what I think. Anyway, Candace Owens, she's directly calling out Andrew Colvett. Now, when I saw this clip, it made me think of another clip that I've seen about 2 months ago. And I was like, oh, that's weird, because she was talking about there being credible threats to her. And I was like, okay. And she said it came directly from Andrew Colvett. And I was like, well, I know of a clip that doesn't answer the question, but it would at least give her some light into what Andrew was talking about potentially. I can't say anything for sure, but I'm going to show you guys her talking about this. And then I'm going to show the clip that I found that is basically from not just Andrew Colvett, but Turning Point in general. They contacted this person the day that this all happened to Charlie. They contacted this person right away, and then this person reported on it like a day later. So I'll show you that in a second, but let's start with Candace, and then we'll jump over to who that is and listen to what they have to say, because it's pretty wild, and it kind of verifies exactly what she's been going through these past 2 months. Anyway, let's jump in.
As a lie by severe omission. By keeping your mouth shut and allowing Candace to take all the figurative bullets as she points out the oddity of a plane that you guys recognized, okay? My point is that these planes were known to Turning Point USA, and we all deserve to know why they were on the ground on that day, what they were doing on the ground on that day, and also why Turning Point chose to stay mum when every influencer under the sun and every publication attacked me for even mentioning the planes, making it seem like I was dumb, I was stupid. Turning Point USA is able to provide answers to these questions. There is more that I know, by the way, but I want to challenge them to respond to this first. Were these Egyptian military planes familiar to Charlie Kirk? It is a simple yes or no question, and answer it carefully, please, Andrew Colvett, spokesperson for Turning Point USA. Because there is something very specific, Andrew, that you told me that happened when you arrived into Provo on the tarmac that day, and it is now playing over and over and over again in my mind, and it isn't adding up. Another point that I'd like to follow up with, Andrew Colvett, let's stick with you, is that in the hospital on that day, you told me, you were in the hospital, that you were told that there was a credible threat against me and Tucker Carlson. Specifically, you told me that me and Tucker Carlson were on a list, and that you were just telling me as a friend that me and Tucker should lay low. And after you told me that, I ended our phone call and I immediately called Tucker Carlson.
I know, way too close to the camera, but you have to understand, I have a Patreon now, so consider subscribing to the Patreon. As you know, sometimes we get attacked by bigger accounts and it puts this channel in jeopardy. On Patreon, I'll be able to talk about things that I can't talk about here, and you'll have more of a link to me just in case, because like I said, they're going to figure out this whole Philadelphia thing that I've been rolling with the past few weeks. And if they do, you'll find me over there. Link in the description.
And I said, hey, terrified, like obviously crying all day, and telling him that he and I have to lay low because there's a credible threat. And it is now really living inside me that you did not tell me who that threat was from. I assumed the feds told you, but I asked you the question, why wouldn't the feds call me directly if there was a threat against my life? No such call has come in. How is that possible? How could someone have told you that there was a credible threat and that me and Tucker Carlson should lay low, and yet me and Tucker have since not been notified by any federal agency about those credible threats?
Oh, I got a little bit of an answer for that. Kash Patel, I don't know if you've heard this, okay? People are getting in trouble for saying this, but Kash Patel has quite the nice girlfriend. She's very nice, and she's a country music sensation. I don't know if you've heard this. She's incredible, and I have nothing bad to say about her. And if you look into her, well, you're not going to find anything. And that could be the reason, or not, maybe, that she's not getting told about this threat. I don't know. Just Kash is real busy. He's on planes with the girl. He's doing a bunch of things with the lady. And this lady takes up a lot of his time. And she has nothing to do with honey. Okay? There's some people who think she has something to do with honey and pots. And I think that's not something you should say. I don't say it. I think she's an upstanding citizen. A dual citizen, perhaps, even. Dual citizen with who and where? I don't know. That's not for me to figure out in this video. That's not what I'm researching here. I'm just saying if you look into her, you might find some things out, and you might find a song or two that you like. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that's why she hasn't heard about this threat, which is very chilling when you think about it. Let's keep going.
Who do those threats come from? Because I got to tell you, there are a lot of people making videos about me and Tucker Carlson, and none of them are Egyptians, okay? In fact, it's the
Philadelphia.
It is
Philadelphia.
Israel that seems deeply upset with me and Tucker Carlson. They are not letting it go. They are making threats on every stage, okay? People that are tied to Israel
Philadelphia
are making threats against me and Tucker Carlson, demanding that we be canceled. So who specifically told you in the hospital room that there was a credible threat against my life? I'm going to need that information, okay? I want to know that now because the stakes seem pretty high. And I have a lot of questions. This is probably a good time to tell you all that I am starting to piece together another scenario that could have happened. And there was another flight that I am now very interested in.
So when Andrew got that message, for sure, because if I got a message that she mentioned me in her podcast, he got 100 messages from some from friends and some from donors. You know, like Charlie would get. I'm just saying, probably, right? He probably got a lot of messages too. And I know, and it was good. When she mentioned me, it was good. It was still terrifying. I could understand how Andrew was feeling. And, you know, just putting it out there, Andrew has not responded. He has not addressed this on the Charlie Kirk show, which he now runs with Blake. He has not taken to Twitter to address this. Candace hasn't mentioned it in any of, like right now, she's live. She was live before, so there's been 2 since. She hasn't mentioned it at all. So maybe he called her. Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, let's move on. And again, everything I was saying about Kash Patel's girlfriend. Just just a great lady. You know, just a great lady. Um, you know, sees a lot in Cash, because Cash is, Cash basically looks like Jason Momoa. He does. I mean, let's be real. He's dashing, right? Um, and again, she has nothing to do with pots, nothing to do with honey. She doesn't even own either of those things in her house. She doesn't own those things, so she has nothing to do with anything like that. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. And the whole dual citizen thing, like, that could be, and it's only because she's so great that two places would want her as a citizen. That's the way that is. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. Allegedly, does that save me? Does that save me from a $5 million lawsuit? Anyway, let's jump in. This is Benny Johnson. I'm sure many of you have heard of Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson sometimes talks like this when he is reporting on certain things, because he has taken lessons from Tucker Carlson. And when he reads like this, says things like this, it really, really. Anyway, let's I don't want to get insulting. I'm not insulting Benny. Benny's great. I think Benny's fantastic. But let's jump into what he had to say in this live that he gave 2 months ago, right after Charlie Kirk passed, and members of Turning Point, the main members that we all hear about on Twitter and on X and in the news and in the videos, actually called him and told him. Let's check this out.
That's what happened in Butler. There was no escape plan for Matthew Thomas Crooks. He got taken out by a single shot. You can hear it and see it in the footage clearly. A single shot. Matthew Thomas Crooks was gone. I saw the blood stain myself, traveling all the way down the building for 15 feet and then 20 feet down to the ground. Done in a single shot. A single professional shot took him out. What happened to Charlie yesterday was the opposite. What happened to Charlie yesterday, based on snipers who I spoke with and military experts, professional security and tactical teams with military training and special forces training, that sounded like a professional shot. That was a professional shot. What happened to Charlie yesterday was the opposite of what happened in Butler. While some things on paper are the same, the actual shooting itself was the reverse. Someone trained. Someone was prepared. Somebody plotted for weeks, days, years. Other mysterious things happened. Like, for instance, when the shot rang out, there were individuals on the ground who caused distractions for law enforcement. The shooter, of course, has not been apprehended and is gone. Thankfully, as we just heard, we have the weapon, we have DNA, we have video footage that will all be helpful. But what happens next? Well, it is the biggest manhunt of your life, or mine. But the fact that this individual had an escape plan, was able to pull this off and then leave undetected. Charlie Kirk travels with a phalanx of security guards. There's no less than 10 highly trained military agents with him. They're not actively in the military.
Listen, this was 2 months ago when he said this. We've learned a little something about that security detail. I'm not saying that they're not highly trained. I'm just saying that that they don't always get the job done. That's all I'm saying.
Many of them have served and trained at the highest levels. Charlie Kirk has an excellent security team, one of the single best in the business. Charlie Kirk, and it is often his events are staffed with law enforcement, as this event was. So to be able to evade all of that, to be able to get a single shot, not one shot, the shooter was not going for mass casualty, was not going for terror. A single shot, it was one, according to all available evidence, a single round from 200 or more yards without anybody accurately capturing or noticing the shooter. And then the shooter disappears and is currently still unapprehended. Yes, there is reason for people to believe that this is a professional hit job. John Solomon is an excellent reporter, and Steven Crowder has some leaked information. I want to talk about both. I want to begin by saying that I'm very, very close with Charlie and his team, and here's what I wish to relay to you from them. That there is some considerable evidence that there were state actors involved here. That's it. I don't want to go any further than that. I can't go any further than that. That is what I've been told. It is not like this is exclusive to me necessarily. John Solomon said it last night on Sean Hannity's show. Here we go.
And we all lost, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on today, we lost something important in America today. But the case goes on, the investigation goes on. There's a lot of piecing of evidence together. We don't have a shooter tonight. We have a couple leads, a couple people that were released that probably aren't the shooter. There's a couple hot leads. There's a little bit of foreign intelligence.
I'm sorry, sir. What? How did we miss this at the very beginning? Candace is catching it from every person for suggesting this. But this is what was being suggested right away? Hold on. Again?
A couple people that were released that probably aren't the shooter. There's a couple hot leads. There's a little bit of foreign intelligence. And I think over the next couple of days, we will learn a lot more. And hopefully we will bring to justice the evil person who did what they did to Charlie today.
Yeah, I hope so. I am hearing that they do have a couple of people of interest. That's the latest I heard from
That's correct.
Law enforcement. You're hearing the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. Final thing from Steven Crowder, and then we will move over to Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, who will be joining us, who has worked hand in glove with Charlie for the better part of a decade, and who, well, quite frankly, will be able to speak for herself on her relationship with Charlie. This from Steven Crowder.
So, yeah, very interesting. He says that he actually got contacted by Turning Point, right? And who that would be, I just from devising this, you would think that it could possibly be Andrew, because Andrew was on the phone, apparently, after all this happened. He was calling people. He was on the phone with Candace, and they were crying to each other. She was terrified. And he said to her, look, I'm talking like Benny Johnson. She was terrified. And what happened was, Andrew then said, so Andrew says to her, hey, we have reason to believe credible threats. That's what he's saying to Candace. He's saying considerable evidence that they're state actors. That's what Andrew is saying. Okay, this is not me speculating. This is what Andrew has said. Benny Johnson, who is friends with Andrew, friends with Tyler, who's good friends with Charlie, he's not going to make up what Andrew or anybody from Turning Point has said. He's not doing that. And Candace definitely has no reason to make up anything that Andrew said, because it could get called out and seen as fugazi in an instant. Andrew could just say, that didn't happen, Candace, done. And then the whole internet goes ablaze, just pointing at Candace, saying, liar, again, we knew it, crazy, etc., etc. So neither of them have a reason to lie. Both of them are saying things that seem to match up in some kind of way. Now, I don't know how, and I don't know why Andrew, first off, just with what Candace said, I don't know why Candace wouldn't ask then and there. If you say anything to me about there's some kind of threat, I'm going to come to where you are. We're going to talk in person. I don't even want to talk on the phone. You're saying that there's credible. I'm going to be like, okay, I need to go check this guy out, see what this guy's talking about. We're going to talk about this, how you know this, who you got the information from. So, give Candace, it's the day that it happened. So she's probably just wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. Same way Johnson was. Same way I was, honestly. So she doesn't actually ask that. But, afterwards, you got to verify. I'm glad she's verifying now. Figure out who they thought it was. Because apparently they were going around saying this and then pulled back. Right? So if you actually need proof that Benny Johnson was told this, I can verify that Tyler does even say to Benny that they did call him the day that it happened. It's right here.
And that's what makes me the most proud to be your friend, and for you to be one of those first people that we called yesterday as everything was happening. It's almost unbelievable.
I think both of you have at least a decade under your belts working with Charlie Kirk, bringing on Andrew Colvett right now, who is a partner with Charlie. And
did you see that? That's very weird. I know some time went by in the episode, but that's just look right here. Just look right there.
Today, as everything was happening, it's almost unbelievable.
I think both of you have at least a decade under your belts working with.
I don't know. He went from sad to fine. I know there's a split there. I know there's an edit there, right? But even if 10 minutes went by, I don't know. Everybody's different. Listen, I'm way different. I'm like so sensitive. If I'm crying, well, that's the day. That's the whole day. That's just me. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not. I don't want to eat. That's it. If I've cried, then that's it. There's no smiles for the rest of the day, right? But some people aren't like that. Some people can just snap back to it within an instant. Everybody's different. Yeah. So there's that verification there. Even Tyler says Benny was one of the first people called, right? It was Erica, which is very interesting. It kind of shows like Erica, Rob McCoy was called, Benny Johnson was called, Candace Owens was called, all by Charlie's immediate circle. You could say that Candace called Andrew, but I don't know. I'm just assuming they were calling out because that's what you do when you have this news and you know that people are worried about that person. And, people are sitting there in disbelief. They're sitting there in limbo, so you gotta give them that closure and call them up. And Andrew knew how close Andrew is one of the few people who will not even consider saying that Charlie and Candace weren't close. As much as she's going to call him out now, and she even had a list of lies and he was on the list, he has been good in that respect. He's never been like, oh, Candace and Charlie, no, that's not real. Oh, no. He's never been that person. So you could at least give him that. But the point of this video is who was making those threats to Candace. Again, if any of you show her this video, I think it will give her a little insight into who it could have been. I think Andrew could probably give her more insight, but it's interesting that they would tell Benny state actors and tell Candace there's threats, lay low, and not explain to Candace about the state actors. And if you really wanted to put your tinfoil Speedo on, I mean, this is just me. This is just, maybe they just wanted her to be quiet for a little bit. Maybe they knew. Maybe they knew the type of storm that would kick up. And they were just like, hey, you probably shouldn't even do a podcast for like the next month or two. Maybe you should just, I don't know. Maybe just shut the channel down for a little bit because you don't want to. Maybe they knew. They were like, she's going to erupt. Winter is coming. You've woken up. I'm thinking of Game of Thrones references. You've woken up the dragon. The biggest dragon of them all. Don't say it. Owens. You've woken up Owens. Just Candace in Tennessee, just breathing fire. Anyways, guys, I'm so glad what she had to say about me wasn't bad. I'm so glad. And I appreciate so many of you guys being so happy for me that she mentioned me. Like, because it's all you, obviously. It's all you guys. I didn't do that. I didn't reach out to her. Somebody was like, this channel, I like it. This guy's giving information. and thought to put it out there to her, and then she ends up saying it, and then she ends up addressing YouTubers and how we're all going to be made to feel, which I felt like was a direct thing to me and also others, but definitely going through that as well. There are people who will be like, you're crazy, you're this. They'll even be more a little vicious and say that I'm other things, like anti-Philadelphia. We're not anti-Philadelphia here. What do you mean? What do you mean? Not here. No, not me. But but yeah, it's all you guys. You guys decided to do that, and then she mentioned me. So shout out to all you guys. That's what that was. And who knows? Maybe down the line it'll happen again. My brother said it happened again, that she mentioned me again, and I was like, no, she didn't. My brother's older though. He'll see like an episode from a couple of days ago. He'll think it's the episode of today or something like that. He won't realize. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't think she did it again, because I got so many messages when she did message me. It was nuts. So many people. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like that before. That's the type of that's how it must feel to get like canceled, when somebody hacked your DMs and you're like, oh, not the group chat. The group chat with the boys? Oh God, no. Open up, it's police. Oh shit. Oh God. That's what happened to me. For sure. Oh my gosh. You think Nick is bad? I'm kidding. Anyways, guys, what do you think about that? I think we're on to something when we take those two clips of Candace and Benny. I think we're on to something there. But for some reason, and you know what? I could be wrong. I was going to say, for some reason, Benny hasn't talked about it since. Right? Like that's a pretty big thing to put out there. Even if you're just going to correct it, it would make sense for you to correct it. But he didn't even, as far as I know, because I feel like a lot of people would have reported on that. I mean, I'm not seeing anything, right? I'm not seeing anything here of Benny being like, hey, just to pull back. This guy hustles, man. I mean, you gotta respect it. I mean, I don't know the guy. I got no reason to talk well of him, but this guy hustles. I mean, just video after video. People talk about my output. Oh, man. So he has a thing there. Ben Shapiro. So he never addresses this again. He never says anything about it. This is 10 days ago. Let's go back even further. Let's go 2 weeks ago. He never says anything about this. It just kind of goes away. And what does that mean? Does that mean, hey, you weren't supposed to say anything? Or now that the narrative has gotten out of control? I mean, the narrative was in the pocket when this first happened, but we're 3 weeks ago. Let's go back further. There's nothing. The narrative was in their pocket weeks ago, but now the narrative is in Candace Owens' pocket. I mean, let's be real. Candace has a good handle on this whole narrative now. She is the one that is outing things. She's the one that, she single-handedly showed that Charlie changing his opinions on Philadelphia was a real thing. Otherwise, that would have just been completely fake. That would, if Andrew didn't verify and she didn't actually bring out the text and bring out her own text, that would just be like, oh, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. She's just lying. She's nuts. She's just a liar. That's exactly what would have happened. I mean, she's single-handed. And now the same thing's going to happen with this whole Egyptian plane, license plate thing. Something's going to come of this. Definitely. And hey, is it going to solve the case? I doubt it. But is it going to give a little bit of insight that we didn't have before and bring us closer to understanding the whole narrative? I mean, when this whole thing started, it was Charlie was never deviating from Philadelphia, even in the slightest, not even close. And then all of a sudden it became, yeah, his feelings were changing a little bit. Then the timeline started coming out. Then the Google Trends started coming out. Then Candace produces text messages. They get verified as real. Then all of a sudden she produces more text messages that are showing more things. I mean, it changed so much. It went from he was never deviating whatsoever to, yeah, his ideas were changing. And then people would try and say it was just a joke. He was just joking in those text messages. To now we're seeing not only was his opinions changing, but he was doing things behind the scenes and he was having people talk about Philadelphia. You know what I mean? He was having people talk about Philadelphia and he was telling them to go max. He was telling them to go hard. Everyone from Tucker Carlson to Officer Tatum. Everybody who was willing to talk about something that had a link to that, he was telling them to go hard. He was holding focus groups. He was letting young people voice their opinions. But when the narrative first came out, it was like, this happened. This kid did it. He never deviated on everything. We're done here. Be quiet and wait to the trial. She single-handedly changed all of that. And yes, guys like me, creators, Ian, etc., you know, a lot of guys on X, we helped it along the way as well. But, you know, she's there. She's there at the helm. She's at the helm. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to bring that to you. I'm out of here.